The first scream shattered the silence of the billionaire's mansion like a glass window breaking in the middle of the night. It was not a scream of fear, nor of anger. It was the desperate, broken cry of a father who had just been told that his little daughter would never see the world again. In a room filled with expensive machines, cold white walls, and doctors in spotless coats, Armin Halim stood frozen, staring at his 7-year-old daughter lying motionless on a hospital bed, her eyes wide open yet empty, as if she were staring into nothingness. And just when he thought his heart could not break any further, a thin, barefoot boy stepped forward and whispered words that would change everything. "Your daughter isn't blind, it's your wife who puts something in her eyes." Before this story unfolds further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of truth, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps keep these stories alive. Armin Halim was known across the country as a man who had everything. He owned skyscrapers, factories, hotels, and private jets. His name appeared in business magazines, and people spoke of him with admiration and envy. But behind the polished suits and confident smiles was a man whose life had quietly fallen apart. His wife, Samina, was elegant, charming, and respected in high society. Their daughter, Noor, was the center of Armin's world. She was born after 10 years of waiting, prayers, and hospital visits. From the moment she first held his finger, Armin promised himself that nothing in this world would ever harm her. Noor had been a bright, curious child. She loved colors, drawing, and staring at sunsets from the balcony. She used to describe the sky as God's painting, and the stars as tiny lamps for angels. Every evening, Armin would come home tired from work, and Noor would run into his arms, showing him her drawings and telling him stories about school. Those moments were worth more than all his wealth. Then, one morning, everything changed. Noor woke up crying, rubbing her eyes, saying that everything looked blurry. Armin rushed her to the best hospital in the city. The doctors ran tests, scans, and examinations. After hours of waiting, they gave him the news that shattered his soul. They said her optic nerves were damaged. They said the condition was rare. They said treatment might not work. They said she could lose her vision permanently. Within weeks, Noor's world turned dark. She stopped drawing. She stopped running. She stopped smiling the same way. She learned to walk slowly, counting steps. She learned to hold walls. She learned to recognize voices instead of faces. Armin watched his little girl fade into silence, and he blamed himself every day. He spent millions on treatments, flew doctors from abroad, and took her to foreign hospitals. Nothing seemed to help. Samina, on the other hand, appeared calm. She acted like a devoted mother, staying by Noor's side, feeding her, giving her eye drops every morning and night. She told Armin that these drops were prescribed by a specialist she had consulted privately. Armin trusted her. Why wouldn't he? She was his wife. She was Noor's mother. Months passed. Noor's condition did not improve. Instead, it worsened. One afternoon, Armin visited an old charity school he had once funded, hoping to distract himself from his pain. In the dusty courtyard, he saw a group of poor children playing with a broken ball. Among them was a thin boy with messy hair and sharp eyes. The boy accidentally bumped into Armin and quickly apologized. When Armin looked down at him, he noticed something unusual. The boy was holding a notebook filled with detailed sketches of buildings and machines. Curious, Armin asked about it. The boy explained that he loved drawing structures and wanted to be an engineer someday. His name was Zion. He lived in a nearby slum with his sick mother and worked part-time to support her. Armin felt a strange connection to the boy. Perhaps it was his intelligence. Perhaps it was his honesty. He decided to sponsor Zion's education and brought him to his mansion to study in a better environment. Zion became a quiet presence in the house. He studied in the guest room, helped servants, and sometimes read to Noor when Armin was busy. Noor liked his voice. She said it sounded warm like sunlight. Zion noticed things others ignored. He noticed how Samina always insisted on giving Noor her drops personally. He noticed how she locked the medicine cabinet. He noticed how she became nervous when doctors asked about Noor's daily routine. One evening, Zion was looking for a book in the storage room when he accidentally found an unlabeled bottle hidden inside a jewelry box. Curious, he opened it and smelled something sharp and chemical-like. He had once helped his uncle in a small pharmacy and recognized the scent of industrial solvents. Alarmed, he kept the bottle. Later that night, he overheard Samina speaking angrily on the phone, whispering about inheritance, trust funds, and control. She talked about how Armin's will would change if Noor remained dependent. She talked about fear of being left behind. Zion's heart started racing. The next morning, when he saw Samina preparing Noor's drops, he noticed she was using the same bottle. That was when he decided he could not stay silent. At the next hospital visit, as Armin sat nervously outside the examination room, Zion gathered all his courage and walked up to him. His hands were shaking, his voice trembled, but he spoke. He told Armin the truth. He told him about the bottle, about the smell, about the hidden place, about the phone call, about his suspicion that the drops were not medicine. At first, Armin was furious. He thought the boy was lying. He thought grief had made him paranoid. He almost asked security to throw him out. But something in Zion's eyes stopped him. There was no greed there. No fear. Only honesty. Armin secretly took the bottle and sent it for testing. The results destroyed him. The liquid contained chemicals that slowly damaged optic nerves. Long-term exposure could cause permanent blindness. His wife had been poisoning their daughter's eyes. The truth came out in a storm of tears, police reports, and court hearings. Samina broke down and confessed. She admitted that she felt invisible after Noor was born. All attention shifted to the child. Armin became distant. She feared losing her status, her luxury, her power. She wanted Noor to stay weak, dependent, and always in need of her. In her twisted mind, blindness meant control. She was arrested. Armin felt like his heart had been ripped apart twice. Once when Noor lost her sight. And again when he learned who was responsible. But there was still hope. Because the damage had been slowed. Because Zion had spoken in time. Doctors immediately started treatment. New therapies, surgeries, and rehabilitation followed. Months passed in painful patience. Armin slept in hospital corridors. He learned to pray again. He learned to cry again. He learned to be human again. Slowly, miracle by miracle, Noor began to see shadows. Then light. Then shapes. Then colors. One morning, she looked at her father and whispered that she could see his face. Armin collapsed in tears. He hugged Zion and thanked him like a son. He adopted him legally, gave him education, love, and a family. Zion went on to become a brilliant student. But he never forgot where he came from. Noor returned to school. She started drawing again. Her first drawing after recovery was of 3 people holding hands under a bright sun. Her father, herself, and Zion. Years later, Armin turned his mansion into a foundation for abused and neglected children. He spoke openly about his mistakes, his blindness to emotional distance, and the importance of listening even to the smallest voice. If this story touched your heart, if it made you believe in truth, courage, and second chances, please like this video, share it, and subscribe. Your engagement helps spread messages that matter. And before this video ends, we have one special request for you. Please comment, "I believe in truth," if you believe that even the weakest voice can change the world. Because sometimes, it is not power that saves lives. It is honesty. It is courage. It is a poor boy who refuses to stay silent. And a father who learns to listen.